Nice. Alrighty. So, real quick, one last time. Does anybody else have any dreams they want to ruin or questions they need to ask before we get started?
I like to space them out throughout the day.
Okay. All right. So before we take our mid-session break, I'll make sure to double check to make sure you want to ruin another dream. Okay. Anything?
Nope.
No.
I'm good.
All right. So that means that. Stop this. Play this. Welcome to the world of Illica. A world full of danger, intrigue, and adventure. The world itself has evolved and changed much with the ebb and flow of time. A world of many continents, each one with their own problems and conflicts. In the center of the map is the world's crown, a monstrosity of a mountain. It is surrounded by the Gemstone Archipelago, a vast tropical archipelago, some islands rich with gems. However, the constant shifting of weather leads to dangerous living. Some rumor that the embodiment of water, Itashari, the crashing wave, has grown restless and wants to punish those who damage her waters. To the west, there lies the deserts of Caldera. Several nations exist in conflict with one another, but demons from the Hell's Maw have started to raid caravans in small villages. Soon, the infighting will need to stop, or they will all fall. To the east, there are the realms of Averion, Tarkir, and Macavia. Beyond those lands are the lands of Crixix, the Dread Maw, the Torrent Flame. He waits for his moment to destroy them all and claim his throne. To the north is the continent of Efera. On one side, a wild and untamed savanna with beasts and monstrosities your eyes would not believe. On the other, nothing but dense jungles home to some of the most savage and cruel beings that have ever existed in this world. Farther north, the chained chaos waits for his moment to descend upon the world. But our journey starts on the southern end of Efera. A place of civilization and safety. The five of you left New Verdalca for information and return with much more than you bargained for. So, we start with Morganix and Al. After the traumatic events of what you just experienced, you finally begin to process as you make your way back to New Verdalca. So, as you're making your way back to the city, as the sun begins to set, you have maybe 45, 50 minutes left of your walk after just seeing Boomy and the animals and those terrible undead creatures, witnessing the conflict there. You have the rest of your walk back if you'd like to talk about anything.
Did we basically, run all the way back? Or, I remember we ended running.
Yes, so you were running for about 20, 30 minutes, just on pure adrenaline. But now, you hear no more conflict. All you hear is just the ambient sounds of bugs, roaring rivers, the creaking of trees. And you finally have a moment to catch your breath.
I think we're about safe.
I tentatively kind of turn around and look around and sort of lean against a tree, and I'm still carrying one of the skulls. Did it reanimate?
No.
Oh, thank God. Morganix is just totally stunned. This is unlike anything she ever dreamed of encountering, so she's just kind of in pure panic mode, probably on the edge of hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should we have left him there?
I'm sure he's fine. Yeah, he seemed to have quite a few helpers.
That thing took the book.
Yes, it did. I don't think it was full of trade deals. That book.
No, I think we were lied to, and I'm gonna pull the pack off of my back and look into it. Do I see? I mean, he obviously took the book. Do I did he? That decaying thing? Did he leave anything behind?
Make an investigation check.
Oh, sweet lord!
Like some skin or something.
A finger? Who knows?
Just dropped off. Okay. So as you're looking around, you take the backpack off, set it on the ground, and you just begin taking one thing out after another, pulling different pieces, the different books that you carried with you, and going through. It doesn't seem like there's really anything inside here that he left behind, but as you're just feeling around the edge of the bag for anything, something is different. You don't feel around the inside of your backpack every single day, but you have a good idea of its shape and texture.
Oh, God.
On the inside, there is this almost like a dry slime on the inside. And it's only maybe one square inch. That's just a little sticky, but it doesn't, as hard as you push it, it doesn't move, it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays where it's at.
Morganix's hands are just going to shake a little. Like, she has no idea how to deal with this, so she's just going to close the bag and put it back on.
What's going on?
But there's something in there, and I don't know what it is, and the man who lied to us is never going to believe us.
Probably not. I mean, he threw the other guy into jail.
We got to get that guy out of jail.
Yeah. You also might want to switch out that bag.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn it first on my list of things. But right now we need to get back to town. I don't want to be out here any longer.
I am in complete agreement. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
And as we're walking, Morganix is just like wide eyes, like every single sound, just absolutely terrified.
Okay. All right. Noted. Noted indeed. Just real quick, go ahead and make a perception check for me as you're trying to focus in on everything, but at the same time being overwhelmed by everything. Okay. So you definitely... There is not a moment of clarity in this last hour and a half back as you just... Every single cricket or bug or scattering of hooves, everything sets you off one way or the other. Eventually...
Should I make a perception check as well?
Did you want to keep an eye out, or were you just trying to...
I guess I don't know. Let's say that Al is just writing in his notebook or something.
Okay, well, if you want to, you can definitely keep an eye out too. But if you want to just, along your way, just try and distract yourself by writing notes down, that's okay too?
Something like that.
Okay, all right. So as she's trying to keep a lookout, you are trying your best to distract yourself. You go through about 7 pages of your journal, just scratching things, barely looking up at all. A couple times, although she doesn't seem that perceptive, there's a few times she stops you from tripping over a couple of different logs that are sticking out into the road a little bit. But eventually, the two of you exit from the forest, and you arrive back in New Verdalca. So, we will jump from you guys as you are returning back and eventually heading back to Duncan's, and we will return to Selah, Alec, and Cyrus. The three of you had just begun to move away from the area where that entity had attacked you, taken the key, unlocked a lock from the book, and threw the key away. You luckily went back and you recovered the key, but there was some disagreement as you were beginning to head back to New Verdalca. So there's about an hour to 2 hours walk before you get back there. What are you doing?
I think as we're walking, because I don't think we ever kind of came to a decision on going to tell Jalissa, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, Alec is just gonna once more kind of pat both of her new friends very hard on the back. A little too hard, maybe pushing some of them over. And she's gonna say, right, so thoughts on what exactly is to be said?
I don't like that I was pat so hard, and I'm scowling because I really don't like this simple person. They just kind of annoy the hell out of me. But I can use them because they're simple, so I have to keep them around. Anyway, I think that we should be honest about it.
I mean, I frankly, I mean, am I drunk?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anyone. Am I drunk?
Roll a
He did drink the rest of his he did drink the rest of his flask.
A Constitution saving throw is what I would say.
Christ, tell him what you want. I clearly need more rum.
Perhaps you should take it a little easy.
Now, darling. Now's not the time.
Right, then. She'll give you another really aggressive pat. Honesty it is.
Great.
Alec just trudges on forward, determined to get back.
Alrighty. So, if nothing else is to be said, all of you head back to New Verdalka. Eventually, you break through the gates and you begin to head back to Jalissa and Uncle Eamon's friends. So, jumping from there, we will jump back to Al and Morganix. Eventually, the two of you return to the bookstore. You open the door and there's the pring of the bell. And you can see Duncan standing there over by the where the globe would be right here, and just sort of moving it around and jotting down a couple of notes. And as soon as he hears the bell,
Oh, well, hello. So, how did it go? Good, I suppose. Where's the
I'm
book
going
at?
to march forward and thrust the skull into his hands.
Well, this is fairly macabre of you, but what is the purpose of this skull?
We were attacked by 3 of these things come to life for your book of trade records, and I don't appreciate being lied to.
My dear, I never lied to you. That is very interesting. This is like gnoll skulls.
Then it seems as though that your friend in the jail was telling the truth.
No, he was.
The cart was covered in arrows.
Well, you said you found these at the scene there, and... Well, I suppose he wasn't attacked by natives then. I wonder why on earth he said that then. Well, I guess... Well, all right, fine. I will have him released from jail, as soon as I find it convenient. A busy schedule, after all, so... Yes, well, so, do you have the book then? I'll have him released from jail, no need to worry, but the book was the important thing.
Well, about that...
Fortunately,
your book
it was stolen.
Stolen?
by a corpse.
By a corpse?
By a apparating corpse. What was really in that book?
Well, as I said, it was...
It gave up an interesting aura.
Listen, as I've said, as far as I understand, it was trade deals, different accounts and exports.
Can I do an insight check?
Yes, you may. Go ahead and make an insight check.
I want to know if he's lying to me. Damn.
He seems like he's telling the truth. It seems to be genuine confusion. But he definitely... he is an older man, so he's a little bit harder to read.
Wily old bastard. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths and take the bag off again and show him that hard, weird, slimy spot and say, I had the book in here, and that's where he was rooting around. This was not there before.
Yes, well, that is very odd indeed.
It was terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was. That's why. You know, as I said, they were trade accounts from. I mean, antiquated trade book, of course. Possibly 2, 3, honestly, maybe 400 years ago, when the books were found.
And what sort of trade was it? Souls?
As strange as this continent is, I severely doubt it. It was a friend of mine and I, we were leading an excavation near the Strait Peninsula, maybe 20, 30 years ago. He found the book one day, and after some investigation, he told me that too valuable. Trade accounts could ruin nations, and well, and I trusted him, and I had the book bound and sealed, and I kept it in a library here for a while, and well, then I got word from an old friend in New Efera that said they needed to see the book, and so I sent it out. Yeah.
Something very dark and very evil has that book, and I think that book itself is evil. It was terrifying just to touch.
Well,
and
well,
I hand him the prism glasses, and I say it was like it sucked all color from the world around.
That is very odd indeed. Well, there are always evil people looking for power in all the wrong places, my dear, so I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. As I said, I have conducted, well, not me personally, but my associate did many studies on it and found nothing of value in it. But it's probably important that we get the book back as soon as possible, or else my associates in New Efera will have my head, and I'd prefer to keep it on my shoulders.
Morgonic's face falls when he says the word "we."
Yeah, well,
These friends of yours are who exactly?
my boy, I believe that is for me to worry about and not you.
I almost died out there.
Well, I never said the job was going to be easy. I knew that there would be some danger involved, but you all both seemed competent enough.
I am a librarian.
Yes, well, you've surely read stories about this type of thing before, so I assumed that you would be chomping at the bit to get out there and finally do instead of read.
Morgonix is just going to stare at him and like open and close her mouth a couple of times, unable to find the words, and then just kind of sort of heavily sink into the chair and try to just take deep breaths.
Research holds nothing against what's it called? Real experience.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Al. Well, I suppose that we, like I said, we need to find it, and someone that matches that description probably is not going to be found as easy as asking around on any street corner, so I suppose we only have one
Morganix
place.
is just. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we only have one place to turn, then.
Know someone?
Yes. They're a friend of mine. You see, I have an uncle who has a friend. Yep. For now, rest. There are, around the corner there are a few beds that you can rest in for the night. I'm sure you're weary, especially after that. Sleep, and we'll head there in the morning.
Morganix
right.
casts 3rd level regret.
In too deep now. Alrighty. So the two of you, you let Duncan know, and after your conversation, exhausted and a little disturbed,
Deeply shaken.
deeply shaken, a lot disturbed, you try and sleep as best you can. And now,
I clean my my bolts, the ones that I used, of anything that's on them, whatever that would be.
yeah, I mean, there is some different like moss and bone chunks that are like just kind of like glued on there, and you take a very strong brush, and eventually it kind of breaks off, and you're able to recover the arrows.
Nice.
Okay.
Are we in separate rooms or in one room?
The area, it could be separate rooms. I mean, they're not like rooms. It's kind of like walled off by a curtain.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just kind of like one, it looks like, since this is an academy being built onto a library, it seems like this would be like the meeting hall. But since it's under construction, there are a few beds scattered around in here that just have some like,
It's not the infirmary?
No, no, it's not the infirmary. Might as well be. But yeah, they're just walled off by like curtains.
Cool. Yeah, Morganix will just collapse.
I mean, it would make sense for beds to be in an infirmary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Anything else
so,
for
yeah.
you two?
Nope. Just collapse.
Okay. All right. So the two of you fall onto the beds.
Deep regret.
Deep regret.
Right off.
And you had to sleep for the night. So, jumping back to Sayla, Alec, and Cyrus once more. Eventually, the three of you return to Jalissa's room. Eventually, you make your way up those stairs and back into her room, and you can see her there, sitting by the fire, drinking from a goblet. And as you all approach, she looks friendly upon all of you and says, "Well, it seems as though you do not come back empty-handed, no?"
We found your map. And she kind of hands it to her.
Okay, so you hand her the bottle, and she grabs it. "Ah, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for."
As she does that, I'm going to walk over and kind of grab any, like, jug or decanter of wine here and just say, "I'll be having this, darling."
Yeah, and as you
And
grab...
secondly, what the fuck?
So you grab a big pitcher, and she says, "Oh yes, please, help yourself. It is no problem." And with she pops the cork off of the bottle, and eventually that piece of parchment falls out. And she unrolls it, and you can see this quizzical look come over her face. "This is not, what I was expecting. Not at all."
Me neither.
So I'm gonna go ahead and edit, and this is going in Jamie, Sarah, and Kayla. So she will set it down on the table, and you can see there that it is, for the most part, almost a completely blank sheet of parchment, except there is what looks to be a crow in the center with a crown. There are words in a language that neither one of you, or any of the three of you, can understand. And it seems like in the very bottom, almost in the corner, there's like small little sketches of a map. I do not know.
Well, to be honest, the map wasn't the only thing we found. She kind of like looks to her two companions. My father once told me that evil has stained this land, and oftentimes that stain takes the form of creatures and man, and I believe that is what we encountered. Right, friends? When we went to the boat and when we found this map, and we also found a key, but this creature followed us back to shore.
More like a pier.
Yeah, did we notice when he like stepped through the rift? Like he obviously. I can't remember. Did we actually see that?
You felt the cold, and as you turned, you saw him step through the rift.
Right. Okay.
So you said the man, he apparated in front of you? He had just appeared.
Pretty well when he was brought in. He genuinely looked like a corpse.
He's pretty grim.
Yeah. It was something. We couldn't really move or respond.
But did he take anything from you? You still have the map. That is what we were looking for, no?
Who's got the key?
You have it, You're the one. Wait, no.
No,
Which one
because
of
I
us
remember
picked it up?
I had it, but then when he threw it away, we were looking for it. I can't remember who.
I think that you have it, Sayla.
Oh, okay.
Actually. I thought Sayla had it because she went and went looking for it.
Yeah, I think she was the one who was
Specifically.
concerned about it. Yeah.
Well, he took this key and he opened a book.
He opened a book, and she takes the key, and she inspects it, and she'll just kind of put it into one of her sleeves. Well, it is definitely very nice, and I will keep this on my person. These things catch a high value on the market, and I will be sure to share whatever profits I make from it, as you are the ones who found it, and there will only be a small deduction for my efforts. Of course, the finder's fee will not be ignored.
Alec is looking at you like you just spoke another language.
Do not worry, strong one. You will be paid regardless. Gold. Well, as disturbing as that is, I suppose I do not care. We have what we wanted. We have a map. We have what we need. And as far as I am concerned, a man who unlocked a book is of no concern to me. And besides, we have the key, so I'm sure that he will need it again, and I can guarantee all of you that he will not be able to get to me. So
I kind of scoff and go.
And she'll kind of like this entire time she's been really passive and just kind of light. And there is a moment like after you scoff where her head just like an eagle towards you, and there is this icy scowl, and you swear for a moment you feel like just like a little something tickle your like brainstem. And you're not sure if it's magic or just the anger in her eyes in that moment, but in an instant it's gone, and she... Yes, well, scoff all you like, Cyrus. I can promise you that I will be fine. Well, aside from that unfortunate circumstance, was there anything else of interest you found?
That was it.
We were attacked by skeletons.
Oh, how could we forget that? In character, yeah, Alec just kind of looks at the other two, still confused as to what half of what Jalissa said. Right, we were attacked by... Would my character know that they're gnolls, right?
Yes, your
Okay.
character and your people are very familiar with gnolls. They are sort of like the... your people and gnolls were always at odds with one another until the rest of the people came to Efera.
Gotcha, okay. Right. Not only skeletons, but skeletons of gnolls underwater, which doesn't make sense.
Yes. Well... I'm sorry, my dear, but as I said, you recovered the map, and I am glad that all of you are safe for the most part, and suffered very little in terms of wounds. But you recovered what we need to further our journey to find Nibiru. So, I think what we should focus on instead of this angry decayed man, as we should focus on our map here. As she points down at the table, towards the insignia and the writing in the small map in the corner. Now, I think that we will need to procure someone who is able to understand this writing, as I'm sure none of you understand it, no?
I think that would be best. I'm not sure I can't read it. I'm not sure if my friends here can read it either.
As each one of you kind of look down, it is gibberish. I mean, they're words written in, a common alphabet. You can understand the letters, but the words together mean nothing to you.
Yeah, Alec is looking at it again like a foreign thing.
Yes, well, how about this? All of you have worked hard, and I reward hard workers. So, for a job well done, here is this for you. And she'll set down 3 separate little coin purses on the table. 50 gold for each of you for a job well done. Now please, go drink a little and sleep. We will figure this out in the morning.
Right, many thanks. I appreciate it. She's gonna quickly scoop up her coin.
Okay. Pick it up. Grab it to the rest of you. I'm assuming you other two also do so as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you pick up your small coin purses and you head out of the room and head downstairs. Is there anything you would like to do before you head to sleep for the night, or how much drinking do you two before eventually going to sleep?
A significant amount.
I just kind of people creep and watch like how everyone else is doing.
Okay.
Just kind of learning everybody.
Alec will make a bed on the floor rather than sleeping in any given bed.
Okay. So you can see, now, are you going to do this in the common sleeping area, or are you going to do this in the common area that like people are drinking and talking in?
I think she has enough common sense to know not to sleep in the middle of the floor where people are drinking and talking. But like wherever the rest of the, as opposed to sleeping on the bed, she'll probably sleep on the floor next to the bed.
Okay. Alrighty. So, you partake a little bit, just getting to know your two companions a little more, and then eventually you retreat for sleep for the night, and you can see this set of wooden posts that most of the people who live here call a bed, but you're much more comfortable on the floor. So, you head to sleep tonight, just curling up by yourself on the ground. Sayla, as you are just watching, you can tell that this place is full of shady people. Seeing one thing in particular. Well, actually, here, go ahead and roll a perception check as you are watching.
Oh goodness, where's my there it is. That's I was on bio instead of core and everything was blank and I'm sitting here going, Oh goodness.
Okay. So, it's interesting as you're sitting watching, just slowly sipping on whatever drink of your choice you wish it to be. You can tell how many shady people exist in one area because you watch the same coin purse go from one person to another person, to a third person, to a fourth person, to a fifth person, and then finally, the person who it was stolen from originally steals it again, and it seems as though there's this odd delay of... You can see the second person who stole it. They go up to the counter to pay for their drinks and leave, and as they go to reach for the coin purse that they stole, it's not there anymore. And you see this 15-minute delay between each person having it been stolen, and then their sigh and sort of begrudging sounds as they realize that it was stolen from them. And you realize that they can't be too upset because they stole it in the first place. So you watch that happen, and then Cyrus, I want you to go ahead and just make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay.
Just to see how long you drink for. Before it's too much. Okay. You were going really hard and heavy even before you got here, and that combined with the downing of the jug earlier, you get maybe 4 or 5 drinks in through the bar, and you are just you're just gone. As you're still conscious, but you're blackout right now. You have no idea what you're doing, and in the morning you wake up outside and you have a hen in one hand and you have some bacon in the other hand, and you don't know what was happening. But it must have been a crazy night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty satisfied.
Okay, alrighty. So, all of you retreat for the night. Some of you having a little bit more eventful of a night than the other. But now, we jump back to Al Morganix. Hey. Alrighty. What we got? We got bookstore. So, the two of you wake up, and you are actually awoken by Duncan as he comes in and he says,
Wake up! We have to leave very soon. Ready up. I have some food here for you as soon as you come out here.
What? All right, let's go.
So the two of you are shocked awake.
Make sure
Morganix was really hoping it was a dream.
Anyway, I grab all my stuff, make sure I have everything. Make sure I don't forget anything, and I rush after Duncan.
All right.
I'm more or less resigned to this fate, and I go along.
So a little bit slower. Al, you definitely make it out first, and Duncan hands you a very small plate of sausage and eggs.
So fast, I almost slam right into him. I almost caused the plate to fall.
Just be a tad more careful, Al.
Hands you the food.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
What
What was that?
is it? What's on the plate?
Oh, it's like scrambled eggs and
I'm
some
curious.
like fried sausage.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
And I start eating it as I walk out of
Okay.
the room.
Okay, all right.
Don't leave just yet. Can't take the plate with you.
I'm standing there. I just stand there
Okay.
and keep eating.
Okay, and eventually, Morganix, you come in as well, and he hands you a plate of the same fried sausage and some scrambled eggs.
Please eat quickly. We'll need to be heading out very soon.
I sit down and eat, silent, resigned, sullen.
As soon as she starts eating, I finish my plate.
So then as you're slowly, trying to not eat so fast that you give yourself a stomachache, you can see that Duncan and Al are just kind of waiting for you to finish eating. All
I
right.
take
I'm
my
smiling
time out of
the
spite.
entire time. I'm smiling the entire time with this giant grin. This
I'd
giant
also
wiggly
like
grin.
to, as I've got like a mouthful of eggs, I want to reach in my bag and find my healing potion and slide it across to Al. I think you're gonna need that.
Are you sure?
You took a lot of hits yesterday. It was scary. I'd rather you have it.
All right. Even though we did take a long rest. Do you consider that a long rest or no?
Yeah, that was a long rest.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
How do we recharge our stuff?
I
Just go to your character sheet and then put it all back to the normal.
Yeah,
whatever
I
it's
think-
called.
Yeah, I think you have to do it manually. I don't think there's like a button.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I
Cool.
wish there was a button. That would make it nice, but...
All I lost was hit points. One thing for me to touch.
Okay. So eventually you do finish eating, and...
Wait, question. How many hit points do we start at? 20? Because I lost some too in yesterday, or the last battle.
It should just be your
If it's a
hit
long
point.
rest, you get all your hit points back if it's a long rest.
Yeah, so it should be just your hit point maximum. You just get back up to your hit point maximum, which I think on your character sheet it's 15.
Is it 15 on mine? Okay.
Yeah. So I think you'll just... So anytime you take a long rest, you get all of your... If you were a spellcaster, you get all your spell slots back, but you also get all of your hit points back, and if you happen to use any of your hit die, you get those back as well.
You don't get your ammunition back.
No,
Okay.
you do not.
If only.
Yeah, right. Okay. Alrighty, so the two of you finish eating your breakfast eventually. Al faster than Morganix, but eventually you do. And as you are leaving the smaller library bookstore, as both of you exit, Duncan shuts the door behind you, and he pulls out a set of keys and locks the door before you leave.
Can't let any riffraff in when there's no one in there. So, now I will warn you that we're heading to what's known as the Reaches. It's right near the more uppity part of town, and well, the Reaches is well, it is where the more shady types live, and so I'll warn you now to keep your coin purses close and your weapons closer, just in case. Of course, I hope nothing bad happens, but it's never too you just should, please and thank you.
Right. I
I'm
put
gonna
my
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
like in a ring around my neck, and I
Okay.
And I put mine in like an interior coat pocket.
Okay. Alrighty, sounds good. So the two of you definitely take the necessary precautions to make sure they don't get lifted. And it's not a very long walk, maybe 10, 15 minutes from the academy and the library. And you actually, as you're walking up, you walk past this very elegant, wonderfully decorated inn. And you eventually walk past that one, and you can see the quality of building begin to deteriorate, as they definitely seem to be more ramshackled and hastily put together. Eventually, you make your way to almost what looks to be an abandoned building, and as Duncan, he says,
this one here.
as he opens up the door, you can hear that there's a small bit of music coming from in there, but you can see that there's very little activity happening in here. There are currently maybe 4 or 5 people active. One thing that is very odd is as you are making your way in, you see a purple tiefling sitting up against the side of the building, holding a chicken or a hen and a pack of what looks to be like cooked bacon. And you just move past that, not knowing what's going on there. But eventually, you make your way in, and you can see several others mulling about. And
Duncan says, "Give me a moment here, and I'll go talk to the the barkeep, and we'll be able to talk to my uncle's friend." Yes.
And so he gives you both a nod, as you two are just both kind of standing near the door, and you see him approach the barkeep, and they're communicating in a very odd way, where they are like, at first it's like whispered, hushed, just kind of like murmurings, and then it escalates from there, and it looks like they're about to break into a fist fight, and then in a moment of tension, eventually they both just start to laugh. And Duncan smiles and gives him a nod, and he walks back towards the two of you.
All right, well, because of a few misbound pronunciations and some of my dealings in the past, I will not be permitted upstairs to see her, but the two of you will be able to go. Tell her what you saw and what we are looking for, and hopefully the price will not be too steep. I'll stay down here in case I hear anything too crazy going on, and I'll do what I can to help. But yes,
all right.
The barkeep will grab you when he's ready to take you upstairs to see her.
Morganix is just looking at him like, are you kidding me?
I have the utmost faith in the both of you. You survived an attack by dangerous undead, so you should be fine to go talk to somebody. Yes.
I whisper over to Morganix in a manner that would not hear. I wonder what exactly he did.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
Wonder what exactly he did.
Nothing good, I expect.
So, you two and Duncan stand there for a moment, waiting for the barkeep to come back. You can see him go up the stairs, and eventually return down, and you see him walk over to 2 people sitting together. A woman wearing dark leathers, like a hood around her head, and the 2 of you recognize the other woman. A red-haired woman. The same one who you saw just the other day.
I wonder
beating on that man in the construction area of the city. And you can see there's a few, so you see him walk over there. And you can, Sayla and Alec, as the 2 of you are sitting there, just trying to wake up a little bit. The barkeep, as you know him, Bofar, comes over and he says,
I'm sorry to disturb you ladies, but Jalissa requires your assistance. You see those individuals over there?
Gesturing towards the other 2 and Duncan, who you just watched enter.
I see everybody, so yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I meant no offense, Sayla, but Jalissa's thinking that they might be able to help with the what'd she say? The puzzle of some sort. I forget what she said exactly, but she said that the two of you and Cyrus, wherever he might be, that he might go up there with them, make sure they don't cause too much trouble, and it was you who found the puzzle, whatever it might be, so might be best for you to head up there with them then.
All right. You didn't know where our friend went, did he? He was blind drunk last night.
Wait, well, about 3 a.m. I saw him leave, and, well, frankly, he never came back, so,
Alec is gonna sigh, and then she's gonna get up and pop
Don't
outside the
forget
door.
to check the gutters. He might be dead by now.
She's gonna like give a wave of her hand as acknowledgement, and Alec is gonna like pop outside to see if she can like check down the street to see if she sees him anywhere.
Oh, yes. As soon as Alec pops out, about 4 feet away from the door, you see him just sort of like leaned up and just snoring a little bit, holding this hen and this pack of bacon.
Okay, when you say hen, as in a chicken?
Yes.
What? Okay. Sure. Alright, Alec is gonna just scowl, and then without even waking him up, could she just pick him up over, like, fireman carry over her shoulder?
Yeah.
Or try to?
He's, Cyrus, how much do you weigh again?
Oh shit, I don't know. Like, same as me. What's that? Hold on. Like 170 pounds?
Okay, yeah. So, real quick, Alec, make a strength check for me.
Alright. Hey.
Okay, alright. So, yeah, so as you go to, you bend at your knees, you pick him up around the waist, and as soon as you grab him, the hen and just squeals and begins to just kind of like jump and kind of float away a little bit and just begins like running as much as a hen can, just kind of like running away. And eventually, as soon as she grabs you, Cyrus, you are kind of like jolted awake by somebody like lifting you up a little bit and then setting you back down from the startling of the chicken.
Oh fuck! Oh, Henrietta!
Alec is gonna like almost startled toss him back on the ground. She's gonna say, "The sun has been up for many hours, my friend, and so should you."
I'm Cyrus at your service. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Oh shit, I know you.
Right, Alec Silverfoot, of Logan Silverfoot, and she's gonna go through her entire introduction again. Do you not remember?
I'm still waking up, darling. Give me a moment.
Right, and she's gonna pat you on the shoulder. Well, come on. We've been called.
Yeah. Christ. Okay.
Alright, and she's gonna, like, half sling her arm around his shoulder and, like, force him into the building.
Okay. Alrighty, very cool. So, you lift him up and you do carry him into the building, and Alan, Morgonix, you see that red-haired woman who almost beat a man to death just yesterday, very gently carry this definitely smaller than her purple tiefling who is now henless, still has the pack of bacon though, moving back over to where they were sitting, and the innkeep, who Cyrus, you are now very familiar with. Bofari says,
Master Cyrus, well, it's very nice to see you again. I hope the night treated you well. I see that you got some breakfast there. That's good.
I think so.
As I was just telling the other two, Jalissa wanted to see you about the puzzle and those three over there. she wanted you to head upstairs with them. Make sure they don't cause too much ruckus.
So I look over at Cyrus and I'm like, check to make sure you still have your purse. Because there's a good chance you don't have it anymore. Because you were dumb and stayed outside last night.
I mean, there's a good chance I probably spent a large majority of it as well. Do I have anything on me?
So you pat around your pockets and it's not there, but you don't know if you spent all of that or if somebody did steal it. You're not exactly sure.
I just kind of shrug and say, fuck, whatever.
Okay. Alrighty. So, Bofar will,
Alright, well, yes, please, follow me and I'll lead the lot of you upstairs.
and he'll, start to walk away and, this, larger man with like a mustache and mutton chops balding on the top will approach, Morganix and Al, and he'll say,
Alright, Jalissa, we'll see you now, and these three will be accompanying you. You can head right up the stairs there. Her area is the entirety of the third floor. Head on up, and she'll see you now.
Gonna give just a little bit of a look to Duncan before we leave.
Oh, you'll be fine, my dear. Don't worry about it. Enjoy.
I wave with a grin on my face to Duncan.
sorry, what was that?
I wave with a grin on my face to Duncan.
Okay, and he waves back with a not so self-assured grin back to you. So, the five of you now, Morganix and Al being at the front of this group of five, you make your way up the stairs, and the door is open as soon as you get to the third floor. And now, actually, you know what I can do is I can go here, and I can add Duncan to everybody's journals now. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
All players save. So that's what Duncan looks like.
Nice.
And then as you enter the room, you can see Al and Morganix. You can see a woman with dark brown skin, and she has her face is painted in different areas of stripes of gold and teal. And you assume this to be show the players Jalissa, the person that they had just been talking about earlier. So, as you enter the room, yes, there we go. She's sitting near the fireplace. For those of you who just saw her last night, it's almost like she didn't move at all. It's just a little odd. The table is cleared, however, except for a few different goblets on there. Some with wine, some with water. Just depends whichever you are wanting. So as you enter, she will say, yes, hello, as I believe it is Morganix and Al, correct?
Yes, hello.
Yes.
I walk up to her with my hand outstretched.
Oh, and
Yes,
she'll
I am Al.
kind of do that like wet noodle thing where her palm is down, gesturing it out towards you. Yes, it is very nice to meet you, and you just kind of like
palm and shake it very
yes.
enthusiastically.
Oh yes, well, enthusiasm is good.
Yes, it is.
Yes, if I am recalling correctly, Al, you don't drink, right?
It's true.
Very good. I have some water there for you that you may have. If you are thirsty, that is. I am nothing but a gracious host.
I also drink coffee and tea.
Oh, well, very well. There is some tea on there for you as well, if you'd like.
Thank you.
So, as I have been informed, the two of you would like some help finding a person of interest, no?
Not so much a person, but a book that it took from us.
Yes.
Oh. A book, you said. What, if I may ask, I understand the privacy of my, customers is, of great importance to me, but, might I know what the book looks like and what the book might contain? It will help me in locating it.
Well,
I
Morgana
don't
said,
know.
she
Oh,
said
I'm sorry.
book, well, really she meant tome. And it's this old looking book with old leather binding it. And it's got these locks, these very large locks.
It was in
Um,
chains, and we don't know the contents of it. We were sent to retrieve it by Duncan.
Yes, of course.
and it had this aura of it had this evil aura around it.
Now, if I might be so bold, the person who was holding this book and who took the book from you, they were reeking of undead and terrible energies, no?
Yeah, this creature is known to you?
You can see her face light up with this smile of intrigue and interest. Well, and she looks back to the three of you in the back of the room. It seems as though there is something a little more to that entity that the three of you ran into the other day. Very interesting indeed. So, I'll tell you what. I am a person who trades information for information. I believe that, well, I also know that neither one of you are rich with gold and gems, so my regular prices you might not be able to afford, so how about this? And she pulls out a piece of parchment and slides it on the table towards the two of you. So I will go ahead and...
I'll step forward and take a look at it.
Okay. So, as you take a look, you can see a heraldic symbol of a crow with a crown on its head. You can see a language written on the top and bottom, surrounding in a semicircle, and then at the very bottom in the middle, there's like a small map. Go ahead and make two separate history checks for me, and Al, you can go ahead and make two separate history checks as well, if you'd like.
All right.
Do I know this language?
That's what I was just getting to. So as
Oh,
soon
sorry.
as you... No, you're good, you're good. Just gotta see what Al rolled here. Okay. Okay, alrighty, very cool.
Team
So...
Buckman.
Morgonix, Al, you don't recognize the symbol at all. You are so used to the symbols that are in Averion that this one is definitely not of a noble house there, but Morgonix, you do recognize that symbol. And it's very interesting because it's an older one, and you remember when you first started out as a librarian, one of the things they had you do was they had you scribe, just as one of the harder jobs, and there was a book that you had to scribe that was about famous explorers, navigators, and treasure hunters from the 1400s. And this symbol belongs to one of them. One of the more famous ones, a Thoralian explorer. I'll go ahead and show this to everybody. Beremici Rapiazzo Quindelio, a famous Thoralian explorer and treasure hunter. Now, The only reason why that one sticks out to you is because he was one of the first explorers that ever came to Efera. One of the most famous things that he ever did was he was traveling from Thural to Cartasia, which are two separate continents that normal by sea travel should only take about a month. At the most 2, if the weather is bad. But it took him 9 months. So there is 7 months of undocumented, unknown history to his voyage. So you recognize the symbol, and then you don't recognize the language, but Al, that's where you get it. Your father was one of the leading people when it came to antiquated linguistics and languages of the old world. And this is Old Common, a language that is now dead, no one speaks, but there are few scholars who are able to translate it. You both have no idea what the language means or how to translate it. You do know what it is, and you do know who this belonged to.
Interesting.
Okay. Don't scholars have that feature that lets them always know where to find information?
Yeah, exactly. The background feature. Yes, so for something like this, you could definitely go to Duncan. I mean, he would probably have an idea. He would have an idea of where to find somebody who could help you translate.
And she didn't ask us anything, right? She just slid the paper across and let us look at it.
This is all funny to me because I take Latin in high school. I know what it says. Well, roughly. I'm not that good.
So
it's probably gonna
I'll look at it and sorry.
That's fine. No, you go.
I'll look at it and I'll just look back at her kind of quizzically.
So, I would like to know what it says and what it means. And if you provide this for me, I would be more than happy to begin the search for this book and this individual.
That we will do.
I'll place my finger on the symbol and say, this is the crest of a famed Thuralian explorer. Berenice Rapiazzo Quindialo? You must have heard of him.
It is...
And this is the first time Morganix is actually kind of showing interest in what's happening around her. She's found a good mystery.
No, I don't believe that I have heard of him, but you said he was an explorer, no? So treasure hunter, yes?
Yes, in the 1400s.
Oh, so...
There is 7 months of his voyage that are unaccounted for.
And you can see now she's starting to hook on to the same thing that you did. She says, so that means he must have found what we've been looking for then. Very good, very good, very good. So what does it say then? You must know, right?
I look over at Al.
I recognize the script, but I don't exactly know what it means. I know that it is, in fact, Old Common. I could find a place to have it translated, though.
If you would let us consult with Duncan, he might be of use here.
You may copy this down, but I will keep this version. Share with Duncan whatever information you like, but he will not be stepping foot in here. You have my promise on that.
I understand that. Al, are you gonna copy it down?
Yeah, in my notebook.
Oh, cool.
I'm
So
kind
you
of
just-
just watching the other two kind of out of the corner of my eye, just casually chewing bacon, but kind of being like,
Can I steal a piece of bacon?
Yeah, sure. You are dexterous enough that it's really easy for you just to,
and I'm
especially
probably drunk enough to.
yeah, you don't. He doesn't notice at all. You just take one piece after another, as many as you want. So, as they are copying this down, Jalissa looks back to the three of you and she says, "You three will be escorting them." And she looks back towards you, Morganix and Al, and she says, "It is not that I do not trust you, but think of it as added protection. There are many people in the streets in this city who would like to see, well, that your personal possessions go missing, and I am not one of them. But with these three with you, hopefully that should not happen. And they will make sure that you stay on task, as this has now piqued my interest. And I would like to see it accomplished as soon as humanly possible."
They actually look, I'm thinking, pretty capable, the Morgonic, so she actually
He's going to be
might look just the slightest bit relieved at this. Like, good, she can go back to being a librarian, yes. And she'll just offer a little smile and nod.
Very good. Oh, so I'm assuming that there are no disagreements from my three in the back there?
I'm all for it. This has also made me very curious too.
Alec, I think, for a while was just kind of scowling at the picture, or not the picture, just like the thought of, because she wouldn't see it, the thought of this explorer. After she kind of gets out of that mindset, she'll just look up and she'll say, yes, as long as I continue to be paid for this. I'm sure you understand.
I'm going to be kind of similar. I would say I was probably looking pretty disinterested until he mentioned the dead guy. And then I'll offer my hand and say, "I'm Cyrus, charmed, I'm sure."
Well,
Then I'll go shake his hand. Morganix, thank you.
very good. Very good indeed. Well, it warms my heart endlessly to see the sparks of friendship already flying. Oh, and Alec, you actually reminded me, that key from earlier, I was able to sell it just this morning, and I have the three of your share from the purchase. And she counts out 10 more gold pieces for each of you. Of course, a finder's fee for your hard work and putting your necks on the line for me.
I think Alec doesn't really understand how much gold is worth yet. So she's very excited about 10 pieces of gold. Thank you, many, many thanks. She's gonna pop it with the rest of hers.
Very grateful. I love it. Well, it seems as though the five of you have some work to do. I, with great anticipation, am excited to hear what you find.
A DM question.
Yeah.
So I think the goal here is she wants us to find someone to translate for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
One more. Where is the golds that I can put how much I have on my character sheet?
Oh, yeah.
It's near your
if you-
items.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think I found it.
Yeah, it should be right underneath your equipment, or your attacks. There's
Yeah.
like copper, silver, electrum, gold, and then platinum. Heck yeah.
So we've gotten a total of 60 gold.
Yes, you have.
Holy crap!
I'll zero mine off.
Oh, so as you pick up the 10 gold, she says, "Oh, Cyrus, believe me, as much as I enjoy the the party animal that you can be, please refrain from getting your gold stolen again. And that same pouch that you had the other day, she sets it back on the table. It is significantly lighter, so there's only 25 gold in there, as opposed to the 50 that was. But you've got some.
That's fun. Yeah.
I was like, I freaking knew it. In my head, I'm thinking, yep. This is what I have to deal with. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, if there is nothing else, any other questions that you have, go and talk to Duncan and see what you can find. Goodbye.
Very well. Is he still waiting downstairs?
Yeah, so as the five of you exit, Sayla being the last one, she says, Sayla, may I speak with you for just a moment?
Of course. Yes. I go back in.
Alright, so the rest of you head downstairs to Duncan. And she says...
I wave over enthusiastically.
Remember, well, I just wanted to ask Sayla, how goes all of it?
So far, so good. I'm curious how things are going to go from here, but at least we have a trail.
Very good, very good. Remember, keep an eye out and an ear, and remember, in a group like this, trust is the most important thing. Remember
That's easier said than done, especially considering I have a drunk and I have a very simple person. On top of the fact that I don't know these other two very well at all. Just kind of met them. I don't know how we're going to keep everybody together, considering drunks are usually hard to deal with at the times.
Well, Sayla, that is where you come in. Be the glue that keeps them together.
Not very glue-like, but I will do my best.
That is all I can ask. You are destined for great things, Sayla. Do not disappoint me.
And I just kind of bow and head out to go and meet up with the rest of them.
Okay. So you head out, you shut the door behind you, and you descend down the stairs, and you can see the other four of them are gathered around this elderly man, and he says,
all right, well, is that everybody here now? All right. Well,
she does not like you.
No, frankly, if I was her, I wouldn't like me either. But that is a story for another time, it really is. I believe we should overstay our welcome, as it seems as though as more people come in, the more unwelcome I feel.
All right.
We'll have time for introductions when we get back to my the academy.
So, the five of you and Duncan, you make your way back through the streets of the Reaches, and eventually back to the academy. Eventually walking back into the bookstore through the busy streets of New Verdalca. You arrive. And he says, as you enter, and shuts the door, and as soon as the five of you enter, he locks the door behind you. Oh, excuse me.
So, what happened? Excuse me. Sorry, I need to introduce myself.
Looking to the Cyrus, Sayla, and Alec.
My name is Duncan Baines. I am the head librarian, eventually headmaster of this budding academy, and I am yes. It is a pleasure to meet the three of you, and I graciously welcome you and am happy to have you help us in whichever ways you can.
Overwhelmed with the amount of books. She's never seen so many books before. So for a second, she's just kind of like, wide-eyed and confused as to why so many trees are now paper. And then she kind of pulls herself back and she puts like her right hand into a fist and puts it over her chest. And she says, Alec Silverwood of Logan Silverfoot, warden of the rivers to the Northernmen tribes. And she's just so distracted at all the books.
You are you're indigenous, aren't you?
What?
You are from here, and you initially from here. You did not come from another place.
I'm Alec Silverfoot of Logan Silverfoot, warden of the rivers to the Northernmen tribes.
Oh, yes.
She's a little simple. You'll have to forgive her.
No. This is quite intriguing. Actually, I've never had a chance to actually talk to one of you before. Actually, there'll be time for this afterwards. We will need to talk sometime. I would be absolutely intrigued to hear everything you would be willing to share with me about your people and your culture. Oh my, that would be one good book. I'm sorry, I get ahead of myself. And you other two? So Alec, yes, that is you. You two?
I am Sailor Ribbon.
Sailor, very nice to meet you. You have a look about you of Caldera, correct? The desert lands?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Specifically Sephra.
Oh, well, angel's blessing be upon you and all that cheery stuff.
The joke that she is.
Oh, well, I can sense there's a little bit of animosity there. That's quite interesting. I'll have to talk to you about what things was like. There's a lot of good books here. And finally, you young man.
I'm Cyrus, darling, and forgive me, I'm nursing a hell of a hangover.
Oh, yes, well, when I was younger, I would be right there with you. But for now, too much alcohol, well, it could kill me.
Are you sure you're not dying already?
As he goes into this coughing pit, you can... No, it's fine. It's really fine. And he pulls out a pipe and pushes some tobacco in there and lights it.
You're hearing,
Oh, that's much better.
you're hearing Duncan talk about alcohol. Al writes something in his notebook.
Okay. So, having introductions made, he'll say,
Well, very good, very good. So, now that we're all on the same page, names and introductions made, what was talked about?
She wants translations.
For this, and Al hands over his notebook a little slowly because he doesn't want to part with it too much. But the page that he wrote down the thing, the script, the old common.
Yes.
This is my old common script that we have here. We were hoping that you might know where we could get it translated.
Yes. Old common, you said, yes. I myself am not the most familiar, but believe it or not, a compatriot of mine, well, believe it or not, the same one, actually, who initially found that book, they were well-versed in Old Common, might be...
and he snaps, and you can see him lost in thought for a little bit.
Well, his name escapes me. My mind's not what it used to be. But he does live in New Verdolka still. He lives in the old city. He always said that he enjoyed the scenery there. I haven't spoken to him in 5 or so years, maybe. My work here with the Academy has kept me very busy, believe it or not. So she wants you to have this translated, and then she'll begin to look for the book, correct?
It seems
That is
that
correct.
way, yes.
Well, very good. Well then, I guess, the old city is where you all need to go then. From here, he points, out towards the door. If you had, just follow the main road along and eventually pass, the governor's mansion, westward, the old city, you'll recognize it. The buildings are a little bit, older than the newer ones. So we'll go ahead and move here to a map of New Verdalka. So, it's right by the docks, above the market, in between the new city and the docks. So if you head straight there, just so you all know, this is where the academy is, right here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, you can head whichever way, south and then west. But his house is the house closest to the clock tower near the west side of the ocean. So, yes, I tell him I sent you. He should be happy to hear from a former friend.
How former? Former in the way that you were associates with the woman we just met, perhaps?
No, my past with Jalyssis is, a lot more spotty than my past with, oh, confound it, why can't I remember his name? Well, him and I were the same, I told you about him earlier. We were the ones who did the archaeological dig, found that book. He was actually the one who found the book, believe it or not. So, an expert in specifically linguistics of older areas and languages of, well, dead languages. So he should be able to help you out there. Well, if you have nothing else of importance to discuss with me, I believe you can be on your way.
I'm sorry, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so did he give us an exact location? Did I miss that? I had to zoom back in and out because my Roll20 was like frozen.
No, that's okay. He said that it would be on the in the old city. It was the house closest to the watchtower. So the clock tower right here. Yeah. So like this house right here. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, what was his name?
The guy's name?
Yeah.
In the house? He couldn't remember.
Oh. We're just gonna go knock on someone's door.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I'm excited to hear what developments you find.
Very well.
Well, all right.
So, if there's nothing else the five of you would like to do.
No?
Are there any
Alright.
shops along the way?
If you go all the way south and like brush up against the market right there are a few stalls along the way. Yeah. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I have a single arrow. I probably need more than a single arrow.
Oh, I think it's a little weird because it only starts you with one arrow. I think the starting row
I think it's 20, isn't it?
starts with 20, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna add that in real quick. 'Cause I'm
Yes,
sitting here going,
Paragomancer fucks it up.
yeah. It gives you one arrow and that's it. That's all you get. You get one.
Alright, never mind. I don't need it now.
Would have been problematic.
So you see a Fletcher shop where they sell bows and arrows, and you realize that, oh, nope, there are 20 in my quiver, not just one. And you head on past. It's easy to miscount. Okay.
I just want to see what shops are around. I just want to see what shops are around.
So passing through the inner city, southward towards the docks in the old city. It seems as though there's really nothing in the inner city. It's mostly residential, a little bit upper class, being this close to the governor's mansion and to the parliament building. Yes, yeah, just a little bit. The gardens is definitely the most high class area. There are about 7 people who live there, and they live in mansions, and they're surrounded by wildlife and gardens. So that is the real posh area. But the inner city is just a little upper class. And you can see as you pass, there's the Temple of the Divines is there along your way. But as soon as you curve around towards, as soon as you come around the road by the docks, you can see that there is a plethora of shops that are in the Salt City and the docks right by the Old City. There are, gemstone shops. There are blacksmiths. As I said, Fletcher outposts. There are armorers. There are spice shops. There are a few meat markets. There's a plethora of different things, and especially getting closer towards the dock, it opens up into this wide bazaar of just different people with just kind of like hitched up tents who are just kind of yelling, "Hey, mango, hey, papaya, papaya," just shouting different fruits at one another. So is there any of those you wanted to stop at?
I'm good, but I am watching for like pickpockets and shit, because this is like a prime area for that kind of stuff.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
All right.
Okay. So the noises, just the pure cacophony of noises happening, is a little distracting, but you try and keep an eye out best you can.
Cool.
Okay. Al, was there anywhere you wanted to stop along the way?
Need a mango.
You need a mango. Okay. So as you are passing the Salt City, right in between the Salt City and the Old City, right by the dock, there is one very large, very, very dark-skinned man who is just shouting, "Hey, you want fruit? Fruit! I've got all kinds of fruit. I've got apples. I've got mangoes. I've got papayas. I've got watermelons, cherries, any type of fruit you want. You want star fruit? I've got star fruit. You, young man with the red hair," pointing towards you, Al. What do you want, huh? I've got anything you want here, huh? What do you want? What do you want, huh?
I guess back at the same volume. Oh, yes, I want a mango.
You want a mango? Yes. You want, how many mangoes you want? You want 1, 5, 10, 20?
That would be fine.
1 would be fine. All right, 2 gold pieces. This mango extra special. 2 gold pieces.
Thank you very much. He hands
Yes.
over the gold piece.
So
That's
you
one expensive mango.
You overpay for the mango, but he's just so loud and it's so overwhelming. But you get the mango and it's like a little overripe and kind of squishy. He says, "All right, very good. Get out of here. Hey, what do you want?" And he's just starting to yelling at more people as they come and pass by. And before you can even say anything, he's already gone talking to somebody else. But you have a mango.
A mango. Yay.
You've got the mango.
That's fine. It's
Would you
fine
like-
fine if I overpaid. So it's ripe. It's overripe.
Yeah, it's not spoiled, but it's definitely a little squishy.
Okay. I begin cutting it up with my small knife and eating it.
Yeah, and
I offer some slices to the rest of the group.
so it is good. It's not bad, but is it 2 gold good?
It's not 2 gold.
Probably not.
Morganix will take one anyway, and then she'll kind of ask, Al, do you do your own shopping back home? Or does someone do it for you?
Oh, I don't do my own shopping.
That checks out. We need to
Shows.
teach you some things.
Definitely shows. I did find it's a little too ripe for me.
She will take the piece of mango and show him right here. This is how you know it's too ripe. You've picked this too soon. And then she'll shove it back at him.
Okay, well, Al eats it. The whole mango.
Have Earth crust people ever seen a mango before?
Al, you have before. There were a few dishes that were prepared for you that did use mango, which is probably why you were sort of magnetized to it. But
Mango.
Morganax for you, no. This is the first time you've had a mango, and it's a delicious combination of sweet and almost kind of like tart. It's a really interesting combination of flavors.
Then I don't know any better.
It's like a mango.
Al, I think I'm going to teach you how to budget. Yeah.
Okay.
I know how to. Well, I'm just not used to all this.
That's okay. You got excited, but I can't imagine any fruit in the world being worth that much. It is very good, though. Thank you.
Mother says I have 0 street smarts.
Oh. Oh, good.
Trying to fit into the conversation, Alec will just butt in abrasively. I knew a man once who sold a whole goat for a mango.
The person with the mango must have been very smart.
She's just kind of nodding.
So on that note, eventually you walk past the dock. Eventually, the man trying to sell his marked up fruit is so far in the distance you can barely hear him, and you make your way around the exterior of the old city, and you can see the buildings there are definitely are older. All of the buildings by the inner city and even in the Salt City, they're structurally they make sense. The old city, there are buildings that are just stacked on top of each other. There's almost no structural integrity. The wood almost on some of the buildings looks rotted. But there's a certain like simplistic beauty to it that is striking. So you make your way along the northern edge of the North City, and eventually you make your way. Let's move this here.
I have a DM question.
Yeah.
I realize I may have a game-breaking ability, and it's been a while since I've ruined your day.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's hear it.
All writing. Nice! It's awesome!
Oh, we don't even need this guy.
That's really cool.
I don't know how to justify that. I wouldn't have said something, though.
No. That is actually...
It was too long since I ruined your day.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So what we'll do here real quick is we'll I promise you this is okay. This is okay. So we back up. Right? You are in the room. You are just handed the paper with Jahala, or not Jahala. Ooh, man, Jalissa. There we go. We'll go back to the room. Yeah. Right? We're back at the room.
Hello.
Okay.
Back in time.
Jalissa slides you the paper, and you look at it, and it's you hear that similar voice in the back of your head says, "Oh, that is very interesting." And there's that slight purr to the voice, and almost like a cat hissing at something it doesn't necessarily know. There's that. As you look at it, and you can feel like your retinas begin just to like flare just a little bit as you're staring down at the paper, and you can see the letters start to like reorganize and move. But even as they're like reorganizing and moving, it still doesn't click. You can tell that it's common now, but there's something more to this paper.
Do I get the sense that there's something magical in nature, that I'm being blocked somehow?
Mm-hmm.
Also, is this the first time I've heard the voice without actually having the Hexblade summoned?
Yep.
Oh dear. Well, that's not good. I try to just keep my face a blank slate and pretend I don't hear it.
Okay. So yeah, you can It is, and it's so close. It's like when something is on the tip of your tongue. You can just kind of see the words, but as soon as it clicks, it's gone. And you're not sure if it's because of the hexblade or it's because of the paper, but there's something going on here that's not letting you access whatever information is there.
Well, that's frustrating.
And I'm going to get close to the mic for this, and I can promise you that that was not because you just said you had that. I can promise you that was there before. I was waiting for somebody to cast comprehend languages or something, but that's fine too.
New character, forgot I had this.
No, that's okay. That's okay. All right. So you have that moment. Yeah, you have that moment. You all come back, and eventually, you're back in the old city, right? That's so Raven is over, right? You come back. Well, that's the future though. All right, whatever. Okay, so you come back,
everybody.
To the future.
It's okay.
and you can
Mangoes.
see. Yeah, mangoes purchased. In the old
Mango
city
mango.
now, the buildings stacked on top of one another. You can see the building that Duncan told you. It would be pretty much this one here, except like single story. And you can see that as soon as you get close, mangoes, you can see that the windows are boarded up.
I'm gonna go knock on the door anyway.
Okay, so you approach, and with as soon as you
Stubborn
knock
as
twice,
always.
with each knock, the door just kind of slowly opens. It wasn't locked. It wasn't even all the way shut. And being, almost midday now, the light just begins to pour in. And looking in, you can see that the room is almost the entire area. It looks ransacked. You can see furniture flipped. You can see different produce and food just sort of spilled all over the floor. Cabinets knocked over. Any type of rug or furniture torn to shreds. It looks...
Morganax. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, it looks like almost like a wild animal tore through here.
Morganax is gonna step away from the door and look at the other.
As soon as she does that, Alec will immediately, kind of sensing danger, will step up. What's the problem?
I'm gonna point inside. It appears someone may have beat us to it.
I walks up to the door and says, "Hello? Hello?"
Alec is going to punch him in the side very hard. Quiet. Can I peek my head in and see if I can hear anybody in here?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Also, can I also check for any traps or anything?
Ah, yes. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
I'm not going into the place. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
peeking my head in. Just
Yeah,
okay.
Gotcha. Okay. So you kind of stick one ear close towards the side of the just close towards the house, and you hear nothing aside from the ambient noises of the seagulls and the water crashing on the side of the coast. You don't hear anything, especially nothing coming from inside the house. Sailor, were you just checking around the outside of the door and the immediate interior?
Yeah.
Okay. Looking around, taking your time, tracing fingertips, making sure that there are no bumps anywhere, no bumps in the stone, anything like that. You don't see anything. Seems to be trap-free.
Awesome.
Is there any kind of smell coming from inside?
I mean, just as you open the door, being the first person there, it just smelled stale.
Okay.
That door had been shut for maybe a week or two. Just dead air.
So with no traps or anything in the immediate area, I'm going to venture a little further and just cautiously look around.
Okay. Now are you just doing like a general look over of the interior of the house?
For the moment, yes.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
Height.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it is difficult because there's so much going on in here. You pace around a little bit. You see the different cabinets falling over. You see dressers, beds, furniture, cupboards pulled down to the ground. The interior of this house was, at one point in time, probably very nice, but there's so much happening in here right now that it's just hard to tell.
I'm going to take a step in after Selah.
Okay.
Take a look around. Did he board up the windows before or after a tornado went off in his room?
Make an investigation check.
While this is happening, are there other rooms, or is this just like a one-room place kind of deal?
It is. It's like 2 bedrooms, or not 2 bedrooms. It's 2 rooms. So there's like the main room where it seems like most of like the dining and cooking and eating was done, and then there is one more room attached that seems to be like a bedroom.
I warn her not to go anywhere else until I check it for traps and stuff first.
And then Morganix, it's a little hard to tell. The entire area is just kind of dusty. It definitely seems like nobody's been in here for a while. But you're not sure when the windows were boarded up. They were boarded up from the inside, not from the outside. But yeah, it's just kind of hard to tell.
I look kind of surprised at the mention of tracks and just kind of freeze in place.
Yeah, Alec will nod to, my gosh, Selah. I'm sorry her name. Selah, and then she'll wait before she goes any further. But at this point, I think she will, like, have her hand ready to reach for her sword if needed.
Okay. So you just prepare, right? Just waiting for anything? What about the rest of you? Anything else?
I'm going to go towards the back bedroom, and I'm going to check it over to make sure there's nothing there in terms of traps or anything of importance.
Okay. Is it just Sailor, or is somebody helping her out?
I'll help out, I guess.
Okay. All right. So, Al, being studious, you try your best to help her as much as you can. So, Sailor, go ahead and make your investigation check with advantage.
Advantage.
Yeah, since you have an ally helping you out. So you roll twice and take the higher number.
Do you want perception or investigation?
Investigation.
Investigation. Okay.
Oh.
Wow. Ow.
Oh.
So
The
as
dice gods were so kind last time.
yeah, there was like 3 natural 20s in a row. So as you move into the bedroom, you're not sure if it's because there's another person with you. You can definitely tell Al is trying to be as helpful as he can, but he keeps trying to point things out to you. And it's just...
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, no. Wait, look at this.
It's just a little annoying. You know he's trying to be helpful.
Doesn't make me like him. Sorry, I'm trying to be as patient as I can. Calm down. I can't focus with you doing that, and that could cause trouble if we run into something.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So as he calms down, Sayla, I'd like you to make another investigation check. Now that you can focus and do what you do without somebody helping you.
Much better.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now in the bedroom, you can tell that a lot of the furniture that was in this bedroom, a small table, a couple of chairs, the bed, the dresser, has all been piled up against one side of the room. And as you're just messing around with things, trying to see how loose it is, feeling underneath the bed, you feel a slight distinction in texture. Excuse me. You can feel as you're tracing your hand underneath the bed and underneath all these debris, you can feel there's a slight bump in the wood floor that you recognize as possibly a trapdoor.
All right, guys. I need the big men and possibly big woman to move the bed.
Did you find something?
I think I found something, but I need the bed moved.
All right.
Okay, so all of you, those who want to, do you guys just start moving in and grabbing stuff and moving it?
Yes.
5-minute warning.
Yes, I assume that she told us. Alec was gonna wait for the all clear before she went in.
Okay.
Oh, it's clear.
All right, then yes, she will move
same.
furniture.
Okay. Alrighty. So you grab furniture and you move it, and eventually you get everything moved to the opposite side of the room or into the main living area. And Sayla, now that you felt it, you can see it clear as day. You can see the outline. And it doesn't have like a latch on it. There's a slight groove at the center. And as you go and grab it and you move it just a little bit, you can push it.
Cool, I push it open.
You push it open, and it just slides seamlessly into the wall. Shh. And it's not a ladder, but you see stone steps descending down into the darkness.
Luna.
And
Dog.
with that, we'll go ahead and take a break there. Much. Hey, we're recording again.
All right.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I would have gone at least an hour. Okay. So you all did all of that stuff that I just said, where you talked to Jalissa and you got to Duncan, and Duncan told you that a fellow, a scholar of his, somebody who we actually worked with in the past, might be able to decipher the language. So you made your way to the old city, and you found the house of his former compatriot. Upon entering the abode, you see that it is, ransacked. Shelves toppled over one another, different cooking equipment and supplies scattered amongst the floor, furniture and any type of cloth ripped to shreds. While you're investigating, though, in the bedroom, you discover a trapdoor. Sayla does. Sayla, as you push it back, you can see that it's not a ladder, but solid stone steps that lead down into darkness. That is where we're picking up. So, you just push it back, you see that it is stone steps, leading into darkness. What do you do?
Then, how many people here can see in the dark?
Not I.
I can.
I can.
I can, but I don't think I'm in the same room yet.
And Al grabs out from his bag a bullseye lantern, and he lights it with his tinderbox.
Okay, and then real quick, what is the range on the bullseye lantern?
Like 60 feet. No, wait. I'll just check it.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. It's not in here.
Wonder if I can. Aha, lantern bullseye. 60-foot cone of dim light and an additional 60 feet of dim light. Okay, I gotcha.
60 feet bright and then 60 feet dim.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I couldn't. I don't think it's written in the regular rulebook.
Yeah, no. I looked it up on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Luckily we got it there. Okay, so you light the lantern, and it is very bright. It illuminates the entire bedroom. And so what is the so all of you assumingly are going to proceed down these steps. What's the marching order there?
Well, we're gonna get Sirius first. I don't think he's like followed us in.
I mean, I have the lantern. I'm not giving it to someone else, so.
Considering I can check for traps, though. Should I go first?
Should definitely
Yeah,
go
you
second.
should probably.
I should definitely go second. Doesn't matter who goes first, though. Well,
So, the steps are about 10 feet wide, so you could go 2 at a time, shoulder to shoulder.
all right. Who's going with me?
It's like me. I'll check for traps as we go down.
All right.
DM question.
Yeah.
This is like a tunnel, like a claustrophobic tunnel, right?
It is definitely claustrophobic, but it's very well made. You can see that somebody took time and effort to like wall the sides with stone. Like nothing in here is made of dirt. It is all man-made.
But it's still a claustrophobic tunnel.
Yes.
Okay. Alec is very tentative and hesitant to go any further. So she's just kind of hesitating and just kind of standing there staring into the hole right now.
Morgonix is gonna kind of look at her. Are you alright?
Yes. Thank you. I don't particularly care for closed spaces. I prefer to be outside where I can breathe. She's like trying not to have like an anxiety attack and looking at.
And Sayla looks over and she's just kind of like, hey, I'm checking for traps and stuff. Nothing's gonna get you.
It's not the traps that I'm worried about. Just unnatural to be so encased and closed in and not under the sky. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll be okay. I'll be right.
I'm just thinking, damn simple people.
Alec is gonna take up the rear. She'll be the last one.
Okay. Morgonix will go in the middle.
So then, Cyrus, are you going to go in the middle with Morgonix?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. So, before I move the map, I would like to tell you I'm trying out D&D, or not D&D Beyond's, Roll20's new feature, their updated dynamic lighting. So, I hope that it works. I hope so. So, all of you descend down, and real quick, Sayla, I'd like you to make an investigation check going down for traps.
Awesome.
Before we swap maps here.
Said investigation?
Yep. Okay.
Oh, God.
Dang it.
So you descend down the steps, and the bullseye lantern helps quite a bit in illuminating the area, but similar to earlier, Al trying to be helpful, just kind of shining it in different directions, trying to highlight things for you, ends up throwing you off a little bit more.
That direction.
Kid,
Sorry.
you're making this very difficult.
Sorry.
As all of you are taking steps down, Sayla, as you're telling him this, you take a step, and oh man, okay. So real quick, as I swapped that, can everybody see, or can at least one person see?
I can see.
Nope.
Oh, God, no.
Yep. You might have to scroll up to the top because we're like up in the right-hand corner.
Oh,
I
okay,
see
yeah,
a
I do see that.
I see blackness.
Did you scroll up?
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
I
wait
see
a
the
second.
5 of us in a tiny little...
Torch.
You go. Did that work?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay, I needed to give you vision. That's fun. All right. Okay. So as you take a step, you hear a and there is a small clicking noise as you step onto a plate that sinks into the ground. And
I'm officially very annoyed.
right in front of you, the torch, right here, illuminates in flame. It doesn't fly in your direction, but it illuminates. And you can hear, around the corner, you can hear a similar of torches illuminating. So, you all can, I'm pretty sure, should be able to move your tokens freely. And you can move them around the corner. I think it helps to use the arrow keys. A little bit. Ooh.
How do you do that again?
So click on your token.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, this is
Arrow
really
keys.
neat.
So, as you enter that first room, you can see that there are 2 doors in front of you. And there is a torch sort of illuminating some of the area. And this particular place seems to be a little more well kept than the above ground area. It's still dusty. However, I would like Sayla, go ahead and make another investigation check.
All right, let me pull up my sheet again.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you're descending down and you first enter this larger room, you can see that there are, just with how thick the dust is in this particular area, you can see that there are footprints that are imprinted in the dust. So what I will do here is I will go ahead and in white. You assume that they came from the same direction as you, but the footprints go that way. But they also So that's the general sense of the footprints that you can see. It looks to be one person's set of footprints, just 2. And it seems to be they go in this direction. But the further you get over to this area, closer towards the wall right here, the crossover here, you can see that there are no returning footprints. The footprints just go in towards that way, and they never come back.
Okay. So, guys, we've got footprints. They seem to be leading this way, and there are no return footprints. So whoever went there might possibly still be back there. Considering
Is it possible? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
you're fine. Considering we have fought undead things, there's no telling how long they've been down here. So just be prepared.
Wouldn't it also be possible that whoever lives here heard his assailants and made an escape?
That's possible, but we don't know if there's an exit yet.
Well, any one of these doors could be exits.
It's true. It's a matter of being very careful trying to find out. But they lead in a very specific way. So, I guess it depends on what's behind the door where the footprints disappear.
Do we want to search the rooms or just follow the footprints?
I, for one, am very curious. I'd like to search the room for anything interesting, and would also like to get just a description of the room in more detail.
Okay, yes, I will get that to you right here. I realized that the screen that is being recorded was all black because it did not have any vision on anything. Okay, there you go. Now it has got some. Now it's got some things going on there. Very good. Okay. So, all of you. So Al, real quick, go ahead and make an investigation check for me as you are just looking around the room.
Yep. Let me just investigation.
Very nice.
Wow.
Okay. So.
Wow.
You can see several things catch your eye. As you're looking around, not only this room, but also the room that is across, right over yonder, over here. Because this is just an open area right here that just goes through. Investigating both rooms, you see that most of the barrels and crates that are here are still locked and shut. It seems as though none of them have been opened. You do recognize that these two doors right here are locked. You walk up to them and you jimmy them a little bit, and they don't budge at all. This door over here by this torch, as you move to that one and try and move that one a little bit, it gives no give. And there's no locks. There's no keyhole. It is completely flush with the ceiling and the floor and both sides of the wall. Completely flush. So,
DM question?
yeah.
This statue-looking thing right here, is that an actual thing or just part of the art you found?
No, that's just part of the art.
Just checking.
Yes. No, that's a reasonable thing to ask. And if it was, it would probably attack, right? That just makes sense.
Because if it was, Morgonix was going to have some questions. Cool. Proceed, sorry.
No, you're good, you're good. Yeah, and, okay, so, Al, the last thing you notice is trying to be very careful to really just over-examine everything. You trace your fingers along the wall, and you can feel that there's something was carved into some of these walls. And specifically over, let's see, right here.
My screen just lost all color and all the other character tokens disappeared.
Mine too.
If you click on your token, it'll come back. Yeah. I don't know why, but mine did that too. Click and move your person a little bit.
Weird. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so weird. No, that's okay. It is a really, really new feature.
Okay.
So I just wanted to test it out and see how well it would work.
I'll just move around if it happens again. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good.
Cool.
So, tracing around the edge, there was something carved into the wall here. And you go up and you take out your small knife, and you can see that, like, sediment or dirt or other, like, tiny bits of stone have been packed into it. And you take out your knife and you just begin to carve out. And it's a little hard to read it there, but you take out, you rip out a sheet of paper from your journal, and you take a pencil, and you just begin to scratch your pencil across the paper to try and fill that in to get an idea of what it says.
I would like to hear this going on and mosey on over there and see if I can read it.
Okay. So, the thing is, it's definitely in common. It's not a foreign language, it's just hard to tell what it says because it's the same texture on top of the same texture, just scratched in a little bit. But by creating that imprint over the paper, it says green flame.
Music had like perfect timing. Oh. What do you think that means?
Maybe that's how the door opens.
What makes green flame?
Perhaps
like
something in one of the other
Alchemist's
rooms.
fire to me.
Perhaps we should check out these other rooms and see if there's anything that we could use.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
Just for kicks and grins, I would like to minor illusion the torch on the wall and make it green.
Okay. So you minor illusion one torch to make it green, and specifically just the one that you're closest to here.
Yeah.
There is just this sickly green aura that just sort of overcomes the entire room, and you just feel a little gross. And then eventually, after 6 seconds, it fades back into the bright red and orange. But yeah, that
That's
did
worth
not
trying.
that did not feel great. But yeah, changed it.
Can Alec go and try to open this door right here?
Yeah, so as you go and move towards it, it's locked.
Can I knock on it?
Yeah, you give it a couple knocks. There's no response.
Can I try this door
Do I-
here? Oops, sorry.
I even need the lantern on at this point because the torches.
No, you can extinguish the thing. I'm gonna leave it up on yours because I don't know how to give light to objects. I think I do, but I don't want to mess with it. So
Okay.
I'll leave the light on your character. But yeah, you extinguish the bullseye lantern to save some time. If you ever need to use it again.
Yeah. Even though I do have like 3 flasks, which are each worth like 6 hours.
Oh, all right. Well, you extinguish
You
it
never know.
just for the heck of it. Then, yeah.
Oh, why not?
So
It gives me more, and I put it in my bag, and it gives me more space in my hands.
there you go, just in case anything happens. So Sayla, you move to the door, and that one is also locked.
Okay. Can I should have lock picking tools. Can I use them?
Yes, you do. You have your thieves' tools.
Can I kick down mine?
Yes, you can certainly try. So Sayla, I'd like you to make a thieves' tool check, and Alec, I'd like you to make an athletics check.
Nah. Did it not? Oh, it's asking for input value dexterity, right?
Yep, that's the one you want. All right, very good, very good. So both of you at the same time, Alec, you take a few steps back and you just charge forward with your shoulder, and Sayla, you get down on one knee. You input your few different tools, and with a click on your end, the door open, and at the same time you hear that click and the creak of the door. You hear as you hear wood splitting and cracking. Hinges breaking off of stone, and you hear the door as it slides onto the stone in the basement about 10 feet away. So then what I need to do here is I need to go to dynamic lighting, and I need to go to select, and I need to delete this thing, and I need to delete this thing.
I just kind of look around the corner and look to Alec, and I'm like, a deft hand might have been a better option here. We don't want to alert things.
Well, if someone's in danger, it's better we get to them sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but you could have just cost them their life by them being killed for, people being rescue parties and all that. It's better to kill the prisoner.
Alex looks confused.
I'm just kind of like, okay. Let's be the glue, okay. Fucking goddamn. Then I just walk into the fucking room.
Okay. So each one of you going into each of your particular rooms. Is anybody else joining them in those rooms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I look for traps and perceive the room?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make an investigation check for traps as soon as you enter the room. And then nice. And then Alec, I'd like you to make an investigation check with advantage. As you get into this room and begin to look around because Al's helping you out. But being the first one in there, you're leading the charge. And then Sayla, you can go ahead and make yours with advantage since Cyrus came in with you as well.
Oh, do I need to re-roll then?
Yeah, you can just roll it one more time.
Oh, just roll one time. Okay.
Yeah. We'll see if that's any better. Hey, look at that.
Hey, a little bit better.
Alec. Okay, well, advantage
That
is
could have
good.
been bad.
Yeah.
Hey.
So-
being helpful.
Alec, what you see in your room is you can see there is, at the very far end, there are
Oh,
sticks
that's what it is.
in piles.
Because Al has the light source, I can't see in the room. It's just white.
Oh, okay. Here, let me...
What about the torches?
Well, he has it attached to your character.
Yeah, that's what it is. Here, let me go to tokens, and you know what I'll do? I'll just give you bright light and low light of 60 feet each. 60, 60. Say,
There we
Is
go.
that- Yeah, all right, cool. Okay, so you now in the room. So, Alec, you see bundles of what looks like kindling firewood, and next to it is a furnace that is still going. There is a flame still inside the furnace, and right in front of the furnace there seems to be some type of grate, maybe for some type of like drainage pipe of some sort. You're not exactly sure, but there is a very large furnace and piles of wood next to it. That seems to be all that is inside of this room. Selah, as you are looking around, with help from Cyrus, the two of you definitely work together a little bit better than you and Al, as Cyrus tends to, even though he outwardly has that attitude of a drunkard, getting down to business, it seems as though he really means business, as the two of you just sort of point things out to each other very seriously. And you see that there is one chest in here that it's open. All the rest of them are locked in one way or another, but this one is... There's one, this one specifically, seems to have been opened before, recently, if so.
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay. So you open it, and there are... It's odd. Maybe about the size of, say, like a glass container of like pasta sauce, you know, like that, like ragu size containers of they're full of powder. Each one is a different color, and they're all labeled something. So there is, you know, yellow lightning, verdant green.
Jackpot.
There is icy blue. There are all of these different colors that are labeled in all of these glass mason jars that are filled with these powders.
So can I be smart enough to put two and two together that the powder probably will help the flame?
Yeah, I'd say so.
There's green powder, and that means probably green flame, which is what we need for the door.
Do we put it on the torch or do we put it in the furnace?
Maybe we test it on a torch, a pinch of it to see if it turns the flame green.
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay. So who's testing it?
Suppose I can.
Okay. So how close are you getting? Are you getting like right up next to it, or are you...
I'm gonna stand at kind of like... I'm not like right up on the flame, but I'm close enough that it's easy for me to give it a small little pinch.
Yeah, just kind of like throw it on there.
At it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So we'll say, I'm gonna move your token real quick. We'll say that you're just right there. So you kind of move over, you unscrew the mason jar, you take out a little bit of the powder, and from as safe a distance as you can, with accuracy of throwing refined dust, you take a little sprinkle of it and throw it, and as soon as it makes contact, there is this like small explosion, just and the entire room is illuminated even brighter in this sickly green light.
That was effective.
You can hear just a small, like something unlocking and then locking again as soon as the flame dies down.
All right, I guess that confirms that theory.
So should we try it on the one next to the door?
Was there anything of interest in this other room?
There was the furnace, the wood piles, and that like drainage area.
Yeah, I think Alec would like report back everything that she found in this room and kind of compare notes.
And not in the flame. Wood in the furnace. To put wood in the furnace.
Oh, Al would like to put wood in the furnace? Okay, yeah, you take a small bundle of sticks and put it in there, and there's this like very like a small flash as the wood makes contact with the flame, and the flame grows brighter, and you can see that the torch, all three of the torches, grow a little bit brighter as well.
Hey.
Alec will pat him on the shoulder very hard. Good job.
So
Wonder what
because it
happened
made
to
the
the-
torches. Oops, sorry.
Wait. Do I know what's going on with the powder and all that?
I've compared notes with Alec, but I don't know if you were listening or not.
I'd say that's your call, Al. If you were so obsessed with the wood in the furnace, maybe not. But I mean, probably you would have heard it over.
Okay. I'm just gonna go along with the assumption that I do know what's going on. I wonder what would happen if you put that powder in the furnace.
That's a good question. Considering what it did to the torch outside, it unlocked something for a moment, likely the door. I'd say it's worth a shot. Let's just not use all the powder in case we're wrong.
Alec is
I
going
could
to step
stand
away
by the
from
door, ready to throw it open.
Okay. This door right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the furnace is over here. Yes?
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm going to put some of the dust into it very carefully because it's already lit.
Okay. So as you get down there, you get towards where it seems as though Al was throwing the wood in. As the flame now grows brighter, how much of the powder do you want to put in there? Just a pinch, a handful?
Say a handful.
Okay. So you scoop out a handful, and you go up to the furnace. You go up to where it is. Go to pour it in. After you pour it in, are you going to stay right there, run away? What are you doing?
I'm going to jump back because it's small explosion before. There's more this time in a confined space.
Okay, so you dump it in and you like dodge and roll back towards the wall, covering your neck just in case of anything. And there is this as torrent of flame shoots out from the furnace, and Alec, Cyrus, and Morganix, you can see the torches outside glow this bright green, and being the closest to the door, you can hear three distinct.
I'm going to try to push the door open.
So as soon as you hear those three things, and you do, the door doesn't push open. It is a solid piece of stone. But as soon as you hear those three clicks, the door just begins to drop very slowly.
And I'm going to pop back.
Okay, so you take a pop back, and the door descends down. Uh-oh. There we go. We're getting it. We're getting it. There we go.
Alec will shout back, "It worked!" If you didn't hear it.
We should maybe bring the rest of those powders with us in case there's more of these doors.
I'm in agreement. I'm going to keep the green powder on me since I already have it.
I'll go back and put a couple in my bag.
Okay, so Cyrus and Morganix, the two of you head back, and are there any colors in particular that you wanna get?
I mean, between the two of us, can we take all of them?
Yeah. So you've got the full spectrum of vision. You know, Roy G. Biv, you've got them all.
That's how I do. Cover all the bases.
Alrighty. So, as the door is slowly opening, so you have time to go back and get them, and eventually, by the time the door is all the way down, and you get back, and everybody is clustered around the door, you can see on that table, right there, you can see there's a body on top of the table.
Figured somebody might have died.
And so who's entering the room?
Oh goodness.
Alec just kind of trudged in, so yes.
Okay.
Alec, you really should let me check for traps before you go running in. You're gonna get yourself killed.
Someone has died already. I'm just gonna immediately go over to the table.
Okay. So as you enter in to the room and towards the table, you are flooded with sensory. As soon as you cross through the threshold, you can see all around you that there is... So the woman, the dead woman on top of this table, right here, she's wearing half plate armor that is decorated, and you would not recognize this symbol, but she has a symbol of a half of a cog on her chest, on the breastplate. She has dark blue hair, pale skin, and you can see these sickly black veins all along her face. And most important of all, you can see that there is a piece of paper that is stabbed into her chest with a knife. And on the piece of paper, written in what you are sure is now blackened blood, says, "Take her as a warning. Leave now and never come back." And as you read the note and look around the room, you can see that it's almost like a shrine. There is this thick gray and black gelatinous liquid that is just all over the sides of the walls, spelling out the same word over and over and over again. So let me go ahead and...
What is the word?
It says Yonogu over and over and over again, and I'm going to go ahead and drop that in chat for everybody so you can know how to spell that. Yeah. Yonogu. Yonogu. Over and over and over again. And at the very end of the room, right here on the table here, there is like an impromptu shrine of just bone and matted blood and matted fur. And on top of this pedestal, there seems to be like what looks to be almost like a manila color, like that sort of like pale leather journal right here. But it's sitting nestled in these like bone-like propped up area.
Do I recognize the language the word is?
Make a history check. And Alec, I'd also like you to make a history check.
And also I can read any writing?
Yes. Well, the Yonogu is in the common tongue.
Oh.
It's a name. Okay, no. So, Alec, you have heard this name before. And maybe it was because you were young and you didn't feel like listening to grandmother's stories, but you just can't connect where that name came from. Organics, however, studying the name and thinking about the skeletons that you had fought earlier, it clicks. Those things that you fought earlier yesterday, they were undead gnolls. Yonogu is the patron saint of gnolls. They are the one who... Yonogu is the one who they pray to, who they spill blood in the name of.
I relate that to the group. I say Yonogu is a gnoll god, And we fought some skeleton gnolls yesterday.
This is a bad place.
All
And those
right.
kind of stories kind of start coming back to Alec now.
Yeah.
I'd like to go examine the journal.
Okay. So you move over towards that journal.
Was like here-ish.
Yep, right there. It's right nestled in between like bones and matted blood and fur.
I see a book, y'all.
So do you want to grab the book?
Yes, I will carefully pick up the book.
So as
And that's how I die.
So as you go to grab the book, you pick it up from the area that it's nestled in, and it's like it's stuck. It's almost like trying to pull apart two ribs that aren't well cooked, that it takes a little bit of muscle and tearing, as you can feel almost like you're pulling sinew from flesh, as you just have to, and it makes a splat sound as you pull it free. And as you open the pages, you can tell your eyes of the Runekeeper, one day they'll help you understand, but it's just
It is not this day.
it's not even a language. It's just the scrawlings of a madman. Just page after page is dipped and soaked in blood. A few words catch your eye as you're flipping through it, but having to peel one page from the other with the amount of blood and sometimes just pieces of flesh and muscle that are interwoven into the pages, just pulling page from page, blood over and over and over
Morgonix
again.
drops the book.
It sticks onto the floor, and you don't know if it's because your head is spinning, or if because this is all too much, or if because it actually is. But you swear the book begins to move. Just
Backing away from the book.
I'll use this and fix it up. Interesting.
Well, can the rest of us see this as well?
yes, you can.
That
even
is-
more painfully, you can hear it.
That is unpleasant. I think we should try and grab it and take it with us.
It's what I was trying to do.
Oh, is it?
Okay. So you pick up the book and you grab it, and you can feel just like small little appendages, just squirmy things on the back of the book, just touching your gloves and just kind of wrapping around. Not constricting, just moving. They just move around your hands.
Is this some kind of mimic?
So, as you say that, and all of you begin to move towards the door you exited, the door slams up. It shuts. Locked in the small room, you can feel, for those of you that have this issue, the claustrophobia begin to set in a little bit. That feeling of not being able to get out. And you can see on the sides of the wall the name Yenogu, and that thick blackish gray slime. You don't know if it's because of the green light that is in the room, or the pressure, the claustrophobia, but you swear the letters begin to move and slink off of the wall onto the floor in these two separate chunks on each end of the room. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, no.
No. Ah, dude. How much does that green powder weigh, rough, by the way?